we're back. Gonna start by doodling a little sparkly star right here in the corner. Corner, it's a circle, there's no corners. In the bottom, under the tree. One thing about Hemi, I really like Hemi gouache. And maybe this is just because I have sprayed mine down with water so many times, but the oranges and the yellows seem to take many coats to start looking as vibrant as I want them to when they're going over something dark. But it's still pretty fun, and we can freestyle. As always, if you're aiming at something that's kind of like a fine line detail, you want to touch the brush so lightly to the page. I notice that when I do that, I'm usually holding the brush straight up and down too, which is why I keep blocking your view with my hand. I'm so sorry. Lessons learned. Got a couple castle inspo reference photos up on the page so that we can work on some more castle detail. I'm trying to just go in with a slightly darker green so that we can find our, I don't know what they're called, spires, towers. Find the parts of the towers that we lost when I made it all blobby. Okay, let's see what we can add to these stars. Can we make them a little more sparkly? We're gonna keep on building them up. Nothing is glowing like it's gonna, hopefully. Gonna take this opportunity to add some orange to this part of the scene. Now we have harmony across all three scenes. Color harmony. Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked to be working on the clouds again. Just gonna bring some light back in by throwing some pink on over some of the purple. And then I can work on the castle a little bit while we wait for the clouds to dry. Gonna continue to bring in some more dark green to try to keep trying to define these little rooftops and everything. Not totally sure what I wanted you to see here. Maybe that this is about how far I dipped my brush in. That would track for what I said in an earlier video about trying to aim to not necessarily saturate your brush in paint up past about halfway up the bristles. I am just adding a bunch of little dots because little dots look like some details without necessarily being a totally defined thing. Casual details, if you will. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because my hand is in the way, and mainly I'm just putting a bunch of little dots and little extra details, and I'm gonna put some kind of little ovally sort of rectangles around this castle for windows, and I'm gonna do that with green paint. And then at some point my camera quit recording without me noticing, and it was while I was just adding a bunch of orange dots on top of the green dots, but not those dots, just the dots that I the ovally rectangles that I laid down as the base layer for the windows. So it was like little green mini half rectangles and then a little bit of orange over it, and then later I would come in and do some yellow over it. Let me just skip ahead a little bit because you don't need to see me just blocking you from everything. The ovally dots that are going to be the base layer for the windows could be described as a line, a very short line, kind of like little L's actually, little teeny tiny L's, backwards L's, I don't know. And here I'm drawing a little itty bitty door, kind of triangle-y, but with a little bit of curve on each side, so it's like an arch, pointy arch door. Ugh, I'm blocking things again. Let me skip. Okay, so a little less like L's and a little more like an upside down L. Like a little backwards upside down L angle situation for this base layer of the windows. But it doesn't really matter. You could do little circles, little rectangles, little ovals, little L's, little upside down L's. Any of that will work. A line, a square, a filled in square, a dash even. This is so exciting. I'm getting some peach to add to the clouds to brighten them even more. I love peach. I love adding peach to things. And I'm going to add more layers of the yellow because it just takes a couple layers to build it up until you can't see the dark background coming through it from behind. So the part I accidentally did not record was just adding those orange dots to the window frames, whatever they were, the L's. And that's okay, they were just orange dots. And now I'm just taking some yellow and adding that on top of it to make it seem like maybe they're glowing a little bit from the inside. Little bit of storytelling here. If the lights are on, that means that probably there's people at home in the castle. Seems like they're probably warm and cozy in there. I'm also going to add windows, yellow dots for windows, anywhere I feel like adding them, apparently. You can just do things. You can though, you can do whatever you want. It's just painting and it looks good. Look how cozy, look how bright. Gonna come build up the cloud in front of it a little bit more since I'm all done, hopefully, painting the door and all that kind of stuff, so now I can bring the clouds up around it. going to add some yellow and brightness and touch of orange to the clouds because the stars would be reflecting on them. So a little bit of the color from the stars would probably be on the clouds. So here we go. Going to add that. I'm a tiny bit ahead of myself because I usually like to save this part for the very, very end of my paintings, but it's so much fun when I get to finally add the highlights to things because it really feels like someone just came in and turned on the lights. Oh, it's the best. It's my favorite. You know I've been painting for a while because I've just got paper towels everywhere. I've gone full goblin about this at this point. Adding brighter highlights to the stars too to make them more shiny. Gotta fill these little suggestions of stars in with some more dots. we're just going to give this nighttime sky behind them more stars. Okay, the last video was so long. We're actually going to stop this one here in just a sec because this is actually how far I've gotten with the whole painting. I'm going to have to paint more before I can upload more. But it occurred to me now on this 10th video upload, I should be telling you guys, if you have any questions, oh my gosh, please feel free to ask in the comments. And I'll try to answer them in upcoming videos. If anyone's here, it's so silly. My account is so small. I feel like I'm just talking into the void, but oh well, so it goes. I hope your summer is going amazing, and I hope you managed to squeeze some painting in. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Tally ho! Until next time.